وَلَقَدْ جَاءَكُمْ يُوسُفُ مِنْ قَبْلُ بِالْبَيِّنَاتِ فَمَا زِلْتُمْ فِي شَكٍّ مِّمَّا جَاءَكُمْ بِهِ حَتَّى إِذَا هَلَكَ قُلْتُمْ لَنْ يَبْعَثَ اللَّهُ مِنْ بَعْدِهِ رَسُولًا كَذَلِكَ يُضِلُّ اللَّهُ مَنْ هُوَ مُسْرِفٌ مُرْتَابٌ.
Verily, Joseph, peace be upon him, came to you with clear signs before, yet you continued to doubt his message. Thereafter, when he died, you said, Allah shall send no messenger after him. Thus, Allah leads astray those who transgress the limits and are given to much doubting. Yet you
51. That is, your deviation, and then your stubbornness, is such that before Moses, peace be upon him, there came in your land the prophet Joseph, peace be upon him, about whom you yourselves admit that he was a man of the highest morals, and you also admit that by giving the right interpretation of the king's dream he saved you from the dreadful effects of the 7-year-long famine, which had struck Egypt in his time, and your entire nation also acknowledges that Egypt has never witnessed a period of greater justice and prosperity than the period of his rule. But in spite of knowing and recognizing all his merits and high qualities, you did not believe in him during his lifetime, and when he died, you said, never will the like of him come again. That is, you recognized his excellences only for an excuse to deny every prophet who came after him. This means that you would not accept guidance in any case.
الَّذِينَ يُجَادِلُونَ فِي آيَاتِ اللَّهِ بِغَيْرِ سُلْطَانٍ أَتَاهُمْ كَبُرَ مَقْتًا عِندَ اللَّهِ وَعِندَ الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا كَذَلِكَ يَطْبَعُ اللَّهُ عَلَى كُلِّ قَلْبِ مُتَكَبِّرٍ جَبَّارٍ.
Those who contend regarding Allah's signs without any evidence that might have come to them, that is exceedingly loathsome to Allah and to those that believe. Thus does Allah seal the heart of everyone who is proud and high-handed.
52. It so appears that the next few sentences are an addition by Allah and an explanation of the words of the believer of the people of Pharaoh. 53. That is, Allah allows only those people to go astray who possess the following 3 qualities. 1. They transgress all limits in their evil doing, and then develop such a taste for it that they do not feel inclined to accept any invitation to reform their morals. 2. Their permanent attitude in respect of the prophets is characterized by doubt and suspicion. The prophets of God may bring any clear signs before them, yet they doubt their prophethood and view with suspicion those truths which they present with regard to Tawheed and the hereafter. 3. They try to resist the revelations of the Book of Allah with crooked arguments instead of considering them rationally, and these objections are neither based on any sound reason nor on the authority of a revealed book, but from the beginning to the end their only basis is obstinacy and stubbornness. When a group of the people develops these 3 evils, Allah hurls it into the deep pit of hellfire wherefrom no power can then rescue them. 54. That is, the seal is not set on the heart of anybody without a reason. This seal of curse is set only on the heart of the one who is filled with arrogance and spirit of violence and tyranny.
وَقَالَ فِرْعَوْنُ يَا هَامَانُ ابْنِ لِي صَرْحًا لَعَلِّي أَبْلُغُ الْأَسْبَابَ.
Pharaoh said, Haman, build for me a lofty tower that I may scale the highways.
أسباب السماوات فأطلع إلى إله موسى وإني لأظنه كاذبا وكذلك زين لفرعون سوء عمله وصد عن السبيل وما كيد فرعون إلا في تباب.
The highways to the heavens, and have a look at the God of Moses, peace be upon him, although I am certain that Moses is a liar. Thus Pharaoh's evil deed was made to seem fair to him, and he was barred from the right path. Pharaoh's guile only led him to his own perdition.
55. Pharaoh addresses these words to Haman, his minister, interposing in the speech of the believer in a way as though he has no regard for what he was saying. Therefore, he turns away from him arrogantly and says to Haman, "Build me a high tower so that I may climb it to see where the God of whom this Moses speaks, lives." For explanation, see Surah Al-Qasas, Ayat 38, and E ends thereof.
وقال الذي آمن يا قوم اتبعون أهدكم سبيل الرشاد.
The person endowed with faith said, "My people, follow me. I shall direct you to the path of rectitude."
يا قوم إنما هذه الحياة الدنيا متاع وإن الآخرة هي دار القرار.
My people, the life of this world is ephemeral, whereas the hereafter, that is the permanent abode.
من عمل سيئة فلا يجزى إلا مثلها ومن عمل صالحا من ذكر أو أنثى وهو مؤمن فأولئك يدخلون الجنة يرزقون فيها بغير حساب.
Whosoever does an evil deed will be requited only with the like of it, and whosoever acts righteously and has attained to faith, be he a male or a female, they shall enter paradise and be provided sustenance beyond all reckoning.
56. That is, you are being forgetful of Allah on account of your pride in the transient wealth and prosperity of this world. This is your folly.
وَيَا قَوْمِ مَا لِي أَدْعُوكُمْ إِلَى النَّجَاةِ وَتَدْعُونَنِي إِلَى النَّارِ.
My people, how is it that I call you to salvation while you call me to the fire?
تدعونني لأكفر بالله وأشرك به ما ليس لي به علم وأنا أدعوكم إلى العزيز الغفار.
You call me to deny Allah and to associate with Him as His partners, those regarding whom I have no knowledge that they are Allah's partners in His divinity, whereas I call you to the Most Mighty, the Most Forgiving.
57. That is, about whom I have no scientific proof that they are God's associates. Why should I then accept such a stupendous thing blindly that they also have a share in Godhead and that I have to serve them along with Allah?
That they are Allah's partners in His divinity. That is, to associate with God's divinity those about whom He did not know they had any share in it.
لا جرم أن ما تدعونني إليه ليس له دعوة في الدنيا ولا في الآخرة وأن مردنا إلى الله وأن المسرفين هم أصحاب النار.
There is no doubt that those whom you call me to have no claim to be called upon in this world and in the hereafter. Certainly, to Allah shall be our return, and those who exceed the limits are destined to the fire.
58. This sentence can have several meanings. 1. That they neither possess here nor in the hereafter any right that the people should be invited to acknowledge their Godhead. 2. That they have been made gods by the people themselves without any reason, for they have neither claimed Godhead for themselves in this world nor will they put forward any such claim in the hereafter that they also were gods and should have been acknowledged as such. 3. That it is of no use invoking them here nor in the hereafter, for they are absolutely powerless and invoking them is of no avail at all. 59. A transgressor is every such person who recognizes the Godhead of others than Allah, or assumes godhead for himself, or rebels against God and adopts an attitude of independence in the world, and then commits excesses against himself, against other creatures of God and against everything else with which he has to deal. Such a person, in fact, transgresses all limits of reason and justice.
That those whom you call me to have no claim to be called upon in this world and in the hereafter. This sentence can be understood to mean several things. 1. That those who were misguided had no right, neither here in this world nor in the hereafter, to ask people to acknowledge the Godhead of false deities. 2. It is others who had invested those deities with Godhead. As for the deities themselves, they had never laid any claim to divinity in this world, nor will they ever make such a claim in the hereafter. 3. That it is of no use to invoke these deities either in this world or in the hereafter, because they are absolutely powerless.
فَسَتَذْكُرُونَ مَا أَقُولُ لَكُمْ وَأُفَوِّضُ أَمْرِي إِلَى اللَّهِ إِنَّ اللَّهَ بَصِيرٌ بِالْعِبَادِ.
Soon you shall remember what I say to you. I entrust my affairs to Allah. Surely Allah is watchful over His servants.
This sentence clearly shows that while saying all this, the believer was certain that he would have to bear the brunt of the wrath of the entire kingdom of Pharaoh in consequence of his speaking the truth, and that he would have to lose all his honors and privileges, even his life. But in spite of knowing all this, he performed his duty only with his trust in Allah, according to the call of his conscience, on this critical occasion.
فَوَقَاهُ اللَّهُ سَيِّئَاتِ مَا مَكَرُوا وَحَاقَ بِآلِ فِرْعَوْنَ سُوءُ الْعَذَابِ.
Eventually, Allah saved the person endowed with faith from all the evils of their guile, and a woeful chastisement encompassed the Pharaonites. The Pharaonites.
61. This shows that the believer was such an important man in the kingdom of Pharaoh that although he spoke out the truth in the face of Pharaoh, in the packed court, yet none could have the courage to punish him publicly. That is why Pharaoh and his supporters had to make secret plans to kill him, but these plans also were frustrated by Allah. 62. It so appears from the style that this event of the believers speaking out the truth had taken place in the last stage of the conflict between the Prophet Moses, peace be upon him, and Pharaoh. Probably being fed up and disgusted with the long drawn-out conflict, Pharaoh might have at last made up his mind to kill the Prophet Moses, peace be upon him. But he might have felt from the truthfulness of that influential person of his kingdom that the Prophet Moses, peace be upon him, influence had even reached the higher circles of his government. Therefore, he might have decided that before taking the extreme step against Moses, peace be upon him, he should find out who among the chiefs and nobles and higher officials of the kingdom had been influenced by the movement, and should seize Moses, peace be upon him, after having punished them. But while he was still busy devising his plans, Allah commanded the Prophet Moses, peace be upon him, and his companions to migrate, and it was while pursuing them that Pharaoh was drowned in the sea along with his hosts.
النار يعرضون عليها غدوا وعشيا ويوم تقوم الساعة أدخلوا آل فرعون أشد العذاب.
They are exposed to the fire every morning and evening, and when the last hour will come to pass, a command shall be given. Admit the Pharaonites to an even more severe chastisement.
63. This verse is an express proof of the torment of Barzakh, which has often been mentioned in the traditions as the torment of the grave. Allah here has in clear words mentioned two stages of the torment, a lesser torment, which is being given now to Pharaoh and his people before the coming of resurrection, and it is this that they are presented before the fire of hell morning and evening, which strikes terror in their hearts and they see the hell which they will have to enter ultimately. After this, when resurrection comes, they will be given the real and greater punishment which is destined for them, i.e., they will be hurled into the same hell, which they are being made to witness since the time they were drowned till today, and will continue to witness it till the hour of resurrection. And such a treatment is not especially meant for Pharaoh and his people. All the culprits continue to witness the evil end, from the hour of death till resurrection, which is awaiting them. On the other hand, the righteous people are made to see continually the pleasant picture of the good end, which Allah has gotten ready for them. A tradition has been related in Bukhari, Muslim, and Musnad Ahmad on the authority of Abdullah bin Umar, saying that the Prophet, peace be upon him, said, "Whoever from among you dies is shown his final resting place morning and evening continually, whether he be a dweller of paradise or of hell. It is said to him, this is the place which you will enter when Allah will raise you back to life on the day of resurrection and will call you into His presence." For further details, see Surah Al-Anfal, ayats 50-51, Surah An-Nahl, ayats 28-32, Surah Al-Mu'minun, ayats 99-100, and the ends thereof, and ends 22-23 of Surah Yasin.
وَإِذْ يَتَحَاجُّونَ فِي النَّارِ فَيَقُولُ الضُّعَفَاءُ لِلَّذِينَ اسْتَكْبَرُوا إِنَّا كُنَّا لَكُمْ تَبَعًا فَهَلْ أَنْتُمْ مُغْنُونَ عَنَّا نَصِيبًا مِنَ النَّارِ.
Just imagine, when they will remonstrate with one another in hell, the weak ones will say to those who waxed proud, "We were your followers. Will you then lighten for us a part of our suffering of the fire?"
64. This they will not say in any hope that their previous guides or rulers or leaders would actually be able to save them from the torment, or would have it reduced. At that time they will have fully realized that those people could not avail them anything there. But they will say this in order to humiliate them, as if to say, "In the world you ruled over us with great show of power and authority, now save us also from this disaster which has befallen us only because of you."
قَالَ الَّذِينَ اسْتَكْبَرُوا إِنَّا كُلٌّ فِيهَا إِنَّ اللَّهَ قَدْ حَكَمَ بَيْنَ الْعِبَادِ.
Those who had waxed proud will reply, "All of us are in it. Allah has already passed His judgment among His servants."
65. That is, both you and we have already been sentenced and Allah has passed His judgment regarding each of us. Now it does not lie in anyone's power to change the sentence of Allah, or to make any increase or decrease in the punishment awarded by Him.
وَقَالَ الَّذِينَ فِي النَّارِ لِخَزَنَةِ جَهَنَّمَ ادْعُوا رَبَّكُمْ يُخَفِّفْ عَنَّا يَوْمًا مِنَ الْعَذَابِ.
Those suffering in the fire will say to the keepers of hell, "Call upon your Lord to lighten the chastisement for us just for a day."
قالوا أولم تك تأتيكم رسلكم بالبينات قالوا بلى قالوا فادعوا وما دعاء الكافرين إلا في ضلال.
The keepers of hell will ask, "Did your messengers not come to you with clear signs?" They will say, "Yes, they did." The keepers of hell will say, "Then you yourselves should call upon the Lord, and the call of the unbelievers will end in vain."
66. That is, when the fact is this, that the messengers had come to you with the clear signs, and you have already been sentenced to suffer punishment here, because you had refused to believe in them, it is not possible for us to pray for you to Allah. For obviously there should be some plea for such a prayer, and you have exhausted every plea by your misconduct. So, you pray for yourselves if you so like, but we would tell you beforehand that the prayers of the people who had disbelieved in the world like you have been of no avail.
إِنَّا لَنَنصُرُ رُسُلَنَا وَالَّذِينَ آمَنُوا في الحياة الدنيا ويوم يقوم الأشهاد.
Surely, we shall help our messengers and the believers in the life of this world, and on the day when witnesses will rise to testify.
67. For explanation, see EN 93 of Surah As-Saft. 68. That is, when Allah's court will be established and the witnesses will be produced before Him.
Shall help our messengers and the believers in the life of this world, and on the day when witnesses will rise to testify.
يوم لا ينفع الظالمين معذرتهم ولهم اللعنة ولهم سوء الدار.
The day when the excuses offered by the wrongdoers shall not avail them. They shall be victims of the curse and a woeful abode.